the 19th of July, the sun, Sunday morning, 2026, Common Era, 2569, Buddhist Era. Today I'm going to read one citation from chapter 11 on Common Buddhist Text, Guidance, and Insight from the Buddha. Chief editor of this compilation is Dr. Mahadhamma Kosachai, otherwise known as Pratmaha Brahma Pandit. But in chapter 11 on monatistic and lay disciples and noble persons, we left off on the 10 fetters to overcome by noble disciples. It's a brief passage, and then I'm going to go and read the simile of the cloth from SuttaCentral.net, and I will put the website in the description for those of you who want to go and back and check, read that. The 10 fetters overcome by noble disciples. The four main kinds of noble ones progressively overcome what are known as the 10 fetters. The lower fetters binds a person to the rebirth in the realms of sensual desire, in a hell, or as a hungry ghost, animal, human, or in one of the lower heavens. The higher ones bind a person to the more refined heavenly rebirths of the elemental forms and the formless levels. View on personality is regarded the body, feeling, perception, volitional activities, or consciousness as self, a possession or identity classification of self within self or containing the self. Deeper than this is conceit, self-centeredness, based on the vague sense of I am. This can also be cited from the Samyutta Nikaya, Volume 3, 130 to 131. Bhikkhu monks, there are these 5 lower fetters. What 5? View on personality, facilitation, clinging to truths and vows, sensual desire, and ill will. Monks, there are these 5 higher fetters. What 5? Attachment to form, attachment to the formless, conceit, restlessness, and ignorance. This passage is cited from the Oram Bhakya and Uttam Bhakya Sutra, Samyutta Nikaya, Volume 5, 61. Like I said, that was one of the briefest reading from the passage from the Common Buddhist Text, Guidance, and Insight from the Buddha. Here is going to be a summary from the Vata Sutra, the simile of the cloth, and it is translated by Bhikkhu Bodhi, that of mental purity, not ritual purity, that leads to vimokha or moksha, liberation. The Buddha compares the mind to a piece of cloth. A stained cloth, even when dipped in beautiful dye, comes out impure. A clean cloth absorbs dye beautifully. Now it illustrates that the defiled mind leads to suffering and an unfortunate rebirth. A pure mind leads to happiness and a fortunate birth. The Buddha lists a wide range of mental impurities, each of which stains the consciousness. That includes covetousness, craving what others have, and so forth, ill will, hostility and anger, resentment, contempt, insolence, envy, avarice, deceit, fraud, obstinacy, rivalry, conceit, arrogance, vanity, and negligence. Now, the practitioner must recognize and abandon these impurities, or in terms of fetters. Now, it also describes the results of purifying the mind. When these imperfections are abandoned, several transformations occur. We get sattha, faith, or unwavering confidence. The practitioner gains deep confidence in the triple gem, or the Ratanatai, the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. There are these sequences that unfolds. Joy, rapture, tranquility, pleasure, and concentration. Inspiration into the Dhamma. This is the joy. Gladness is the rapture. Bodily tranquility and pleasant feeling abides. And ultimately, a discernment of deep concentration. This is the natural progressions of the purified mind. In the simile of the cloth also points out the development of the four Brahma Viharas. With the concentrated and purified mind, the practitioner radiates loving kindness, metta, compassion, karuna, altruistic joy, and equanimity, mudita, and upekkha. These are all extended to all beings in all the four cardinal directions, immeasurable and without hostility. Furthermore, the practitioner understands that there is this, the inferior, the superior, and this escape beyond. This insight leads to liberation from the taints of sensual desire, kama, guna, or kama tanha. The taint of becoming, vipava tanha, or bhava tanha. And then the taints of ignorance, avijja. The practitioner realizes that birth is destroyed. The holy life has been lived. What had to be done had been done. This is awakening, arihanta, arihatship. Now by this, it means birth is destroyed. What birth? The rebirth of conditioned. Once it's realized, there's no more rebirth. For example, once you're awake and can't be put back into this, the sleep or slumber, you can no longer sleep, no longer. You're constantly awake. So, in this terms, the Brahmin and the rivers. The Brahmin here, named Surandika Bhava Java, asks whether the Buddha bathes in the sacred river Bahuka. The Buddha responds poetically, rejecting the idea that ritual bathing purifies wrongdoing. Instead, the Buddha highlights here that ethical conduct, truthfulness, non-harming, generosity, and a purity of heart. These are the true holy bathings. The Brahmin, or the ascetic, is so moved that he takes refuges in the triple gem, the Ratanatai, the refuge of the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. And he asks the Buddha to go forth and ordains as a monk. And soon after attains enlightenment or arihatship. Now, in the simile of the cloth, there are key takeaways. Purity is internal, not ritualistic. Mental defilements must be recognized and abandoned. Purification leads to confidence, leads to joy, leads to concentration, and leads to liberation. Ethical conduct is the true holy bath. The simile of the Cloth Sutra ends with the powerful example of transformation of a Brahmin that becomes an Arihat. Now, that was a brief summary of what's in the sutra. This is from the Majjhima Nikaya, chapter 7, Mula Pariya Vaga. Thus I have heard on the occasion that the Blessed One was living in Savatthi and Jetavis Groves in Anta Pitaka Park. There he addressed the bhikkhus, Venerable Sir, they replied. The Blessed One said this, Bhikkhus, suppose a cloth were defiled and stained, and a dyer dipped it in some dye or another, whether blue or yellow or red or carmine, it would look poorly dyed and impure in color. Why is that? It is because of the impurity of the cloth. So too, when the mind is defiled and unhappy, destinations may be expected. Bhikkhu, suppose a cloth were pure and bright, and a dyer dipped it in some dye or cloth, whether blue, yellow, or red, or carmine, it would look well dyed and pure in color. Why is that? Because of the purity of the cloth. So too, when the mind is undefiled, a happy destination may be expected. What bhikkhus are the imperfections that defile the mind? Covetousness, unrighteous greed is the imperfection that defiles the mind. Ill will, anger, resentment, contempt, insolence, envy, avarice, deceit, fraud, obstinacy, rivalry, conceit, arrogance, vanity, negligence is the imperfection that defiles the mind. Knowing that covetousness and unrighteousness, greed is an imperfection that defiles the mind, a bhikkhu monk abandons it. Knowing that ill will, negligence is imperfection that defiles the mind, a bhikkhu monk abandons it. When a bhikkhu has known that covetousness and unrighteous greed is an imperfection that defiles the mind and has abandoned it, when a bhikkhu has known that ill will and negligence is an imperfection that defiles the mind and has abandoned it, he acquires unwavering confidence in the Buddha. Thus, the Blessed One is accomplished, fully enlightened, perfect in true knowledge and in conduct, sublime, knower of the worlds, incomparable leader of the persons to be tamed, teacher of gods and humans, enlightened, blessed. He acquires unwavering confidence in the Dharma. Thus, the Dharma is well proclaimed by the Blessed One, visible here and now, immediately effective, inviting inspection, onward leading to be experienced by the wise for themselves. He acquires unwavering confidence in the Sangha. Thus, the Sangha, the Blessed One's disciples, is practicing the good way. Practice the straight way, practicing the true way, practicing the proper way. That is, the 4 pairs of persons, the 8 types of individual. This Sangha, the Blessed One's disciple, is worthy of gifts, worthy of hospitality, worthy of offerings, worthy of reverential salutations for the unsurpassed field of merit for the world. When he has given up, expelled, released, abandoned, and relinquished the imperfections of the mind in part, he considers thus, I am possessed of unwavering confidence in the Buddha, and he gains inspiration in the meaning, gains inspiration in the Dhamma, gains inspiration and gladness connected with the Dhamma. When he is glad, rapture is born in him. In one who is rapturous, the body becomes tranquil. One whose body is tranquil feels pleasure. In one who feels pleasure, the mind becomes concentrated. He considers, I am possessed of unwavering confidence in the Dhamma. He gains inspiration in the meaning, gains inspiration in the Dhamma, gains gladness connected with the Dhamma. When he is glad, the mind becomes concentrated. He considers thus, I am possessed of unwavering confidence in the Sangha, and gains inspiration in the means, gains inspiration in the Dhamma, gains gladness connected with the Dhamma. Then he is glad. The mind becomes concentrated. He considers thus, the imperfections of the mind have in part been given up, expelled, released, abandoned, and relinquished by me. And he gains inspiration in the meaning, gains inspiration in the Dhamma, gains gladness connected with the Dhamma. When he is glad, rapture is born in him. In one who is rapturous, the body becomes tranquil. One whose body is tranquil feels pleasure. In one who feels pleasure, the mind becomes concentrated. Bhikkhus, if a bhikkhu of such virtue and the state of concentration with such wisdom eats alms food, consisting of choice hill rice, along with various sauces and curries, even that will be an obstacle for him. Just as a cloth that is defiled and stained becomes pure and bright with the help of clear water, or just as gold becomes pure and bright with the help of the furnace, fire, so too, if a bhikkhu of such virtue eats alms food, that will be no obstacle for him. He abides pervading one quarter with the mind imbued in loving kindness, likewise the second, likewise the third, likewise the fourth, so above, so below, around, everywhere, and to all himself. He abides pervading the all-encompassing world with a mind imbued with loving kindness, abundant, exalted, immeasurable, without hostility and without ill will. He abides pervading one quarter with the mind imbued with compassion, with the mind imbued with altruistic joy, with a mind imbued with equanimity, likewise the second, likewise the third, likewise the fourth, and so above, so below, around, and everywhere. And to all as to himself he abides, pervading in the all-encompassing world, with the mind imbued with equanimity, abundant, exalted, immeasurable, without hostility, without ill will. He understands thus, there is this inferior, there is this superior, and beyond there is an escape from this whole field of perception. When he knows and sees thus, his mind is liberated from the taints of sensual desires, from the taint of being, and from the taints of ignorance. When he is liberated, there comes the knowledge. It is liberated. He understands. Birth is destroyed. The holy life has been lived. What had been done had been done. There is no more coming to any state of being. Bhikkhus. This bhikkhu is called one bathed with the inner bathing. Now on that occasion, the Brahmin Sandarika Bhattarava, a Hindu, was sitting not far from the Blessed One. Then he said to the Blessed One, but does Master Gautama go to the Bahuka river to bathe? Why Brahmin Hindu go to the Bahura river? What can the Bahula river do? Master Gautama, the Bahura river is held by many to give liberation. It is held by many to give merit, and is held by many to wash away their evil actions in the Bahuka River. Then the Blessed One addressed the Brahmin Hindu Sandarika Bharajava in stanzas. Bahuka and Ayikaka, the Gaya and Sandaraka too, Bayaka and the Sarastai, and the stream Bahumati. A fool may there forever bathe, yet will not purify dark deeds. What can the Sankara River bring to pass? What can the Bayaka River? What can the Buhuka River? They cannot purify an evildoer. A man who has done cruel and brutal deeds, one pure in heart has evermore. The feast of spring, the holy day, one fair in act, one pure in heart, brings this virtue to perfection. It is here, Hindu Brahmin, that you should bathe, to take yourself a refuge for all beings. And if you speak no falsehood, nor work harm for living beings, nor take what is not offered not, with faith and free from all vice, what need for you to go to the river Gaya? What well will be your Gaya? When this was said, the Hindu Brahmin Santirika Bhattarabaja said, Magnificent Master Gotama, magnificent Master Gotama. Master Gotama had made the eternal Dharma clear in many ways, as though he was turning upright what had been overthrown, revealing what was hidden, showing the way to one who was lost, or holding up a lamp in the dark for those with eyesight to see forms. I go to Master Gotama for refuge, and to the Dharma and to the Sangha of the Bhikkhus. I would receive the going forth under Master Gotama. I would receive the full admission. And the Hindu Brahmin, Santirika Dharavaja, received the going forth under the Blessed One. As he received the full admission, drawn soon, not long after his full admission, dwelling alone, with drawn delight, ardent and resolute, the venerable Dharavaja, by realizing for himself with direct knowledge, here and now, entered upon and abide in the supreme goal, the holy life, for the sake of which clansmen rightly go forth from home life into homelessness. He directly knew birth is destroyed. The holy life has been lived. What had been done had been done. There is no more coming to any state of being. And the venerable Bhavajara became one of the Arihats. This is the simile of the cloth from the Majjhima Nikaya 7, from the Mula Panna Sa, and I will put the website in the description for those that want to go ahead and read it.